to go?
Yep.
Cool. Well, thanks everybody for coming. I'm really happy to actually see people here. I did not expect that. So we're going to talk about the uMobile. You know, I'm mobile. We're all mobile. I'm David Darian. I'm one of the lead Java developers at Oakland University. This is Steve Wiggins and Andrew Tlizzle. They're two of our student developers at Oakland. So just say who we are as at Oakland. We're in Michigan, not Oakland, California. But we have a 2,000 or 20,000, give or take, student body, and we got about 5,000 staff and faculty. Just a brief overview of what's coming up. You know, why go mobile? What strengths we have? What we're lacking, and your mobile options and the solutions that you have provided to you. So just a little bit of data. This is a graph of desktop, mobile app, and mobile web browsers over the past year. And this is the first time that we've seen actually people are spending more time in mobile apps than they are on the desktop. And what's really surprising is the amount of time people spend on a mobile browser actually getting to websites. So if you want to read more on the article, this will be posted. You can check out the link later. But it's very surprising that we're seeing that more people are actually in apps than actual browsers on their desktops. So for us, our traffic is continuously growing. We've seen, using Google Analytics, that we've had an increase of 127% in just Android users alone. Apple is still very strong, and that's going up and increasing. But this was the first year that we saw a decrease in desktop usage. We'll see later that OU is actually very iOS heavy. This really doesn't reflect what's going on, in the nation. But OU has a 65% Apple base, so we see that a lot of iPhones and iPads and all those other iDevices are being used. And then Android is there, and it's, like I said, it keeps increasing, and so we're going to start seeing that coming up more and more. And then, very surprisingly, there's Windows and BlackBerry. So, good. So overall, these were smartphone sales over the past year. If this is anything, Android is now taking over iOS. I don't have stats on what's actually being used, but as far as sales go, Android is up 15%, taking over 80% of the share. iOS is down for the first time, going down 14%, and Microsoft's coming up, so I guess we'll have to just keep our eye on that one. So I encourage everybody to join the revolution. So Oakland strengths, what we do. We are big adopters of open source, as I'm sure a lot of you are here. We have a flexible development staff, and we invest heavily on our student developers. These guys are here. As far as us, we're very good at Java. That's kind of our strong suit, but we lack in some other things, and we'll go on that later. But we have close collaboration with Unicom, which is great. They're willing to help us and give us some time and kind of push us in a good direction. And we actually had a leadership backing for mobile. Our president kind of just came in one day and he said, "I want an app," and that's how it started. But like I said, we all have weaknesses, and for Oakland, ours is limited Objective-C knowledge, which means that trying to make a device for an iPad or an iPhone was very difficult for us, so we needed to try to find a solution. We also had a very limited mobile skill set as well. I mean, for us, the most we've done is used our phones for everyday life, never actually developed them. And we have a small full-time staff, and that includes me, and he's not here, but some other guy. So in the beginning, there was uPortal on awesome cell phones. So this is actually uPortal back in uPortal 2.5, and it was actually designed, and you could actually use it on Nokia, I guess, whatever that is. But they've always been thinking mobile forward, and they've always had these great ideas, and they've been innovative along the way. So you're, sticking with uPortal, mobile's a great solution. So let's get into what options we have, right? You have a mobile web, and the big one now is Responder and responsive design, and that's great on the web. You also have native apps, right? They run quickly, they're fluid integration, and you can work directly with native SDKs. But if you don't want to do that, and if you do, you have to manage more source code. You can do it build once, deploy it, or build once, deploy everywhere, right? And this kind of includes Titanium, Phonegap, and this is where you can manage one code base and push to all different types of devices. See, man, there's many flavors. So yeah, the big ones right now are responsive design, native, or you can use either Phonegap or Titanium. So for uPortal, you have Universality, which provides a mobile theme right out of the box, and that's been in support since uPortal 3.2. So as of uPortal 4, you have a built-in jQuery mobile UI. So, and they have a nice detection to see if there's a mobile device, and it'll swap for you on the fly. Coming up now in uPortal 4.1 is Responder. It's using Bootstrap 3, and it's Portal 4.1, and it's nice flat design. It looks very very beautiful, I might say. So if you've never seen Responder, this is just a quick snapshot. We don't have this running in production, but this is something that we're looking forward to in the future. Something we're very interested in. It's a very mobile-first ideology. If you've never heard of responsive design, it's basically one style, and it will adjust according to whatever device is looking at. So a little more for Bootstrap. It's now the #1 forked star. Like, it's the biggest repo out there on GitHub. So uPortal's going around. They're using the latest and greatest technology, which is great. So this is just a little portlet that we have up in a Bootstrap theme, just to give you an idea of what it looks like.
Can you explain a little bit about Bootstrap?
Bootstrap? Yeah. Just Bootstrap or the responsive design in general?
All right. So I've heard of Bootstrap.
Okay.
I don't know. So someone who knows nothing about Bootstrap.
Okay. Bootstrap is like a web framework designed by Twitter. So they're pushing out in there. This is like the what you call it, like the, I don't want to say the best, but the most used responsive design framework out there right now. Does that answer your question?
That's good enough.
Okay.
It gives me enough to search.
Okay. So Responder's awesome. Everybody knows that, but it's not going to replace a mobile app. And the whole point here is to convince you that mobile apps are great. And you want to get on board and have your presence, your institution's presence in that app store. So this is just us. This is just a picture of what we have. This is our icon, and this is our thing in the app store if you want to go to. But you really want you're expanding yourself, your institution. You're going out into the marketplace, and you're reaching more of your students, more of your prospective students, and people are looking for this. It may not be a deal breaker for people when they're searching for a new institution to go to or something, but the students are out there and they're looking for this, and it's really important. And if you don't, someone else will take that space for you. And that's a problem that we're consistently seeing, is that while we have a mobile app out there, students or some other people are trying to claim that they are an official OU app, and they're trying to make money off of us. And we're trying, you got to be out there and make sure that no one else is trying to pose as you. So Steve's going to talk about uMobile and some of the solutions you guys have out there.
So they've explained why mobile apps, what mobile apps are. I'm here to explain what uMobile is and why you should implement mobile. It's a great open source framework to build to multiple devices using like one code base. If you look at the second paragraph, if you want to read the whole thing, apereo.org/uMobile. But so why uMobile? It's open source, and at Oakland, we love open source. We just say that. We can contribute the code back to Apereo, which is great because the community can help us support it. We can feel like we're contributing. So at Oakland, we have everything componentized into nice separate segments, so we can just kind of plug in like CAS and Portlets and all the services that users expect out of uPortal, so into uMobile. So this helps support vendor diversity, meaning like we don't put all our eggs in one basket. We like to have a fallback so that if one of the components fails, we can easily have an exit plan and plug in new component. uMobile is great because it gives a consistent user experience across, like if someone goes to uPortal, expects these services and portlets, they go to the app and get the same experience. So the different options here, as Dave was saying, there's Titanium, Phonegap, which are the ones to deploy anywhere, the web app, builds to iOS, Android, Windows. And of course, there's native apps, which you don't know about. So I'm going to go back to Dave to explain about Titanium, because he was more around when we were doing it.
It made me sound old. So if you guys want to go to a build once, deploy anywhere solution, the two ones out here for view are Titanium Studio and Phonegap, and they both have their ups and downs, right? So Titanium Studio is JavaScript only, but it's trying to provide a more native experience to the device, right? But there's no Objective-C, no Java you need to know. You have to learn new APIs, but just like with any type of JavaScript framework, there's always that thing. So if you're very JavaScript heavy, yeah, that might be the solution that you want to do. It's closed off though. It's not open source. You're not. Support is okay, I guess, is a nice way to put it. But you can deploy anywhere. They have support, I know, for all the major devices, including BlackBerry, Windows, even like Firefox OS, or just HTML5 apps in general. Phonegap, on the other hand, is very web-based. So you're building a website within this thing, and then it will actually deploy it as a native app, right? But like I said before, you can use an ID of choice. You have new APIs to learn. But the thing between both of these is that they're not native, and there's always going to be some type of time where they're not always up to date, or they're slow as far as responding. And just to give you an example, here's what the kind of stack looks like when using Titanium Studio. So you have your application up at the top, and you have this UI layer that everybody sees. But there has to be some type of like transcoding. So you click on a button, and an action is sent. It's going from JavaScript. It has to go down here, down to the native code, and then go back up. And that takes a while. But I mean, we had it out initially, and it was great to have out there. And I think a lot of our students were really appreciative of it, but they're wanting more. So let's see more. So we had two Titanium Studio applications. The first one, like I said, when our president came and said, we want a mobile app, he got a professor and a bunch of students, and they violated a bunch of TOSs and threw an app out there. So we had to come in and go ahead and fix that up. But it was very static. But it was built using Titanium. It wasn't Portal or anything like that. Then the next one was when uMobile first came out using Titanium. That's when we jumped on board. And so we configured that, and that's actually just until recently, last month? Yeah. Last month, we've had the Titanium version of uMobile running in our App Store for the past 2 years now? Or a year and a half, maybe. Oh yeah, support was expensive. I mean, like, 50 grand plus expensive. Yeah, this is one thing. Yeah.
So I'll talk about Phonegap. Just like Titanium, but won't support anywhere. So we build an HTML app, builds it to the native SDKs. So Phonegap was made by some company named Ativo. Adobe bought them, acquiring Phonegap. It uses Apache Cordova, which Adobe has like implemented and changed a little bit to fit their needs. And so it's still open source. So just like Titanium, HTML5 web app. The Cordova JavaScript API translates into the native Cordova libraries and translates it to the native code. As Dave said, it goes all the way back up. As Dave said, also takes a long time. once again, build once, deploy anywhere. It's great in theory to do web app. It's great for web developers. They feel like they fit right in there. It's better suited for us because, as we said earlier, we don't have much mobile knowledge. And there's a lot of plugins that go into Phonegap. Some of them, being third party, don't get official support. So if Phonegap updates, then they have to update. Or if they don't update, then you have to update them. And some of the plugins are written in the native languages along with the JavaScript plugins. So you end up writing native code anyway, which leads me to say, build once, deploy anywhere is usually too good to be true. It's very difficult to get one code base to build consistent product across iOS, Android, BlackBerry, whatnot. So we found that avoiding the native SDKs actually increased our development time quite a bit. Andrew cranked out an iOS app in a month, 2 months, 3 months, I don't know. And Phonegap we struggled with for months. I don't know, maybe it was our development environment.
Yeah, not to say that that's a bad product or anything,
Yes,
but our team, the guy we had working on it, he was not the best at JavaScript, and so he had a big learning curve initially.
Yeah, which the documentation for Phonegap and its APIs are nowhere near as good as Google's Android docs or Apple's iOS docs. Phonegap recently has had an issue with the iPhone 5S has a 64-bit processor now, and Phonegap Cordova libraries don't build to the 64-bit processor, which in the future will become a problem because Android will go 64-bit. You see what the problem is. And as we iterated a couple times, multiple levels of abstraction, so the multiple layers of JavaScript and Cordova APIs kind of slows things down, along with the payloads that come along with any web app, like you have to jQuery and all this nonsense. And debugging was somewhat of a pain. It's basically JavaScript debugging, bringing to a console or alerts or however. iOS devices is a little more difficult to log, because with Android you can just plug it in and type log. But iOS you have to go through Xcode and do all this logging. So, to native to rescue, and Andrew, talking about native.
All right, so at Oakland we actually ended up going with a native solution after we got the several build once, deploy anywhere things up and running. So we have both an Android app and an iOS app. The Android app happened first, and it was pretty simple, but now students are demanding more from it. But it's easy to configure. All you do is change out the URLs, and now it could be another university's app because it's pointing their services that they have running. And we have it integrated with CAS, so you get that single sign-on experience on the mobile device. And this is what it looks like. It uses the Android software development kit directly, so you're not running all those layers on top of layers to be able to write it with web technologies. And even though we created it from scratch, we based it off of the existing uMobile product, so it was helpful in that regard. And the portlets themselves are actually using the web theme when you go to them, so it's kind of a hybrid in that regard, but it's still fast and responsive like a native application would be, mainly because there's no middle abstraction layer. And it's native, that's the big takeaway from that. And for our iOS app, it's a similar type of thing. We had to create a separate application using Apple's software development kit, and we had to create it using Objective-C, which is an entirely different language that isn't used for much else. But if you have experience with Java, it's pretty similar to that. It's just another object-oriented language. And just like the Android app, there's no abstraction layer, so it's fast. And this is what this looks like. You'll notice that even though it's a separate application, the bullet points for this slide similar to the bullet points for this slide. And there's some added benefits from working at the native layer. It's very easy to get at the conventions that your users expect of it. For example, this switch here, users instantly recognize it when they see that on iOS, and they know what it does. Trying to emulate native experience using the web technologies is an uphill battle sometimes. And just because it's more mainstream, using the SDKs directly, you'll find a lot more help if you're trying to look for a solution to a problem online. And you also get to use the integrated development environments that Google and Apple provide for you, which were made specifically for this purpose. And one of the benefits in the iOS app specifically is we can use some built-in tools like auto layout, which is a really useful thing. If you rotate your device, your views will resize to fit it. And even you can see in that one on the left there, if it gets cut off, it'll become scrollable. And all that stuff happened really easily. It might be hard to implement something like that using web technology. So some future possibilities for the iOS app as well is we could get a different layout on the iPad whereas on the iPhone, you'll see just the list view on the left, but on the iPad, we could create it so that you'll see the portlet and the list of portlets at the same time. And the great thing about that is that even though it's a separate device, it's the exact same code for the iPhone and the iPad. Because we're able to integrate with Xcode's tools that they give you to do this. And some other possible future things for the native applications is push notification integration would be fairly straightforward. It's a common thing for applications to do. And looking to get uPortal search implemented in it as well. And so creating two separate applications seems like it would be a costly endeavor, but as we creating an app is an additional cost on top of creating just your website that you already have. And you have to pay for the development hardware to test it on, and the Apple Developer Program is a $100 fee per year. And you need higher staffing as well, so that adds another cost to it. But as we said earlier, it was actually simpler to use the SDKs directly than trying to work at that layer of abstraction. And we were able to create the two native apps in the amount of time, and a smaller amount of time than we created the build once deploy anywhere solution, and a more native and expected response as a result. And if you want to get involved, just check out apereo.org/uMobile. You can also find the mailing list at mobile/community. And the bulk of the uMobile presentations are today. There's a lot of responder talk going on. We wanted to emphasize that being in the App Store is important as well. And these slides are online if you want to take a look at them. Yeah.
I think we're doing pretty good on time. Does anybody have any questions? Or?
Yeah, can you tell me when you guys adopted uPortal?
Oh, that was before my time. About a year or two before. No, they've had a portal. I think Oakland had a portal system since 2002. I want to say uPortal for 4 or 5 years now.
I mean, what version was it? Like 3.2?
We were running 3 something, I think. At some
Would it be
point.
possible for you guys to give us a demo of what uPortal, of how uPortal looks?
Sure. On what, a mobile device?
Oh, anything. Whatever you got.
Oh, meet up with Andrew afterwards. He can show you what the app looks like. Yeah.
You guys are also demoing the tech demo, aren't you?
I'm sorry?
You guys demoing the tech demo event as well?
No, we're not. That's the one like after hours, right? And you go around. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we can walk around and show, but I mean, we don't have a booth.
You could realize
You can take over.
Yeah.
You do have a Portlet showcase stuff, right?
Yeah, and we have a Portlet showcase, so what was that, tomorrow, I think? And I have to look at my schedule, I have no idea. So this is our portal system. What would you like to see? Just curious, how many of you here, or people here are using uPortal already? Answer is most of you. Okay.
Yeah, we don't even have a portal, so.
Oh, okay. There's going to be a lot of great sessions for you later.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So we try to provide, a lot of static content to our students as far as grades, links to important services. So these are all important services that a lot of the students would use. This is where they can go for registration. Just don't laugh at my grades, but we'll be okay. This is what a student would view pretty much every time they log in. They'll have their most important, or their basic information up here. They can view the schedule that they're taking. And then they can actually click on grades, and they can go either into the future or way in the past. So let's see. And then down here, this is another thing. We also have a it's called progress of degree, and what this does is just kind of like an audit to see how close you are to graduation. And we're quite ahead on that for me. It's just interesting. And then these tabs are dynamic based on which group you are. So because I'm a staff, I can see the staff tab. But because I'm also a student, I can see the academics tab. Because I'm also an admin, I can see the admin tools. So when these guys log in, they don't see, the only thing they see are home, academics, and campus. And then we actually have a nice little background switch here, so that's actually pretty cool. But that's just us being fancy sometimes. So.
So what does that look like in uMobile? Can you show us that?
I can, let's see. Hey Steve, I'm glad you told me that. Oh, rendering? Oh, that's ugly.
Don't have to log out and log back in.
Yeah, I don't know. So this is the universality thing. What all our students see if they go on the mobile web. So if they were to view our portal system from a mobile web browser, this is what they would see. This is jQuery mobile. This is the list view. They also provide a grid view where they have all the icons and the title and everything. But we like having it like this. It separates it by the folder and gives you kind of a description. I mean, the titles are pretty self-explanatory, but there are times. And so these are just some screenshots of what we have right now for our Android app. And if you actually click on Portlet, it just gives you the same user experience as if you were on a mobile device. So it just takes the mobile view of the Portlet and throws it up in the web browser or in the web. Anybody else have any questions?
Did you say, sorry, it's really again, did you say something about if that was native app code,
Yeah.
is that available for universities to?
Not yet. Our goal is to decouple it, and we're going to have it out hopefully within the next couple of months. Yeah, we really want to get that out to the community as soon as possible. I'm sorry, you had a question?
So, if that was native app code, is that available for universities to? Not yet. Our goal is to decouple it, and we're going to have it out hopefully within the next couple of months. Yeah, we really want to get that out to the community as soon as possible. I'm sorry, you had a question?
So,
How many like modules utilizing the web view to show the portlet?
Mhm.
Is it every module, or do you have some native like previous uMobile map?
Well, the portlets themselves, they render in a web view, but the main view that you see here, this is all done using native code. Yeah, and that's how it is. Until portlets start developing a way to use web services, and either using like JSON feeds or passing data back and forth that way, the best way, at least in my opinion, is to have a web view. When you start getting into web services, you can actually have custom views depending on the device, right? So you can have Android look completely different to a portlet as if it would look on an Android device.
Because making API calls to the server for that.
I'm sorry?
Making web service calls
Mhm.
to the server for that.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a native view that's generated dynamically because there's already a JSON feed for the user's layout. So if they move their portlets around on a desktop, it'll be reflected in the app. But the portlets themselves are still the web
Yeah,
views.
so it gives a dynamic and a custom experience for each student. All right, thank you so much.